I'm here today at Rad Industries and we're going to show you around a bunch of Supras and cars and what he has in the shop. We've already done a bunch of YouTube videos on this, so I don't have to do too much introduction to the audience. He's a Formula D driver. He has a Rad shop here in California. So here we go. This is Dan's personal personal Supra that is a drift car. It's meant to be, I believe this is all this stuff. It's meant to be a practice car, very similar to the Formula D car, but detuned, with just a stock 2JZ in it. Beautiful setup. Oh yeah, it doesn't have a T-top or sunroof or anything. That must be rare. It has a lot of really cool detail work where it looks like it's a street car, like it could be something a Rito would have as like a Ridox like demo car or something like that. But it is a full rear mount radiator setup with remote reservoir, coilovers, and all kinds of beautiful fabrication, fuel cell back there. Tons of fancy stuff. I don't know what transmission that is. Does it say something cool on it? I think it's a sequential. It says Samsonus on the thing. So this is a full-on crazy car. His Formula D car is over here getting worked on, prep for the 2022 season. He said he's not gonna make a lot of changes, so just refresh the car, simple suspension changes and little things like that, get it ready for the next season. He was originally just shooting nitrous in this little port, and they're gonna go to some type of more dedicated to get it into each cylinder instead of just spraying it in an intercooler like that. So much beautiful fabrication, and it looks like it's very much inspired by Japanese work. Tons of pie cuts. It's all JZ and stuff. I'm sure he takes a lot of inspiration for all this from Japanese stuff, since he does drive a Japanese car. It's very cool to see someone that's so flamboyant with his style and presentation. He is like a working shop, so he probably wants to do beautiful work, keeping everything clean, but you wouldn't know this is a race car just by looking at it. You would think that this is some type of like SEMA build. It is so ridiculously nice, especially because I think he said that this car has been around for something like 5 years in drift, and he has crashed it a lot and done a lot of damage to it. Oh! And to keep something this nice is amazing. Nothing has any real damage that you can see. I'm sure somewhere on the frame rails or something, if I really start looking at details, you can start finding that this is a worn drift car. But I can't even find dirt on it. Oh, I finally found something dirty. Yeah, so it does look like this is super similar build for like the transmission and all the setup between the two cars, which probably makes it a great practice car. He said he doesn't get enough practice though. Hopefully he gets to drive that practice car more. Lots of fancy stuff going on in here. I'll just let you guys look around in the video. Super cool. It's so cool we can, like, at the top level of drifting, you can still get into people's shops, go look around, poke, you know, they're not even around looking at us or like checking to see if we're looking at something we're not supposed to be or anything like that. If you were looking at Formula One teams or NASCAR teams or anything else, it would not be like this. Drifting is so inviting and relaxing to be around. I love it. Say 10 years ago too, when drifting was more of in its infancy, it was even more like that. It was just, no one knew what we were doing, no one knew to keep anything secret or do anything like that, how real race car teams work. It was just the good old boy time frame. So this is one of the few customer cars in here right now that I'm paying attention to. Actually, I don't know how many customer cars there are in here, but there's only like 6 cars in here. This is a drift one. Very nice engine package. Dan was telling us that it's pretty rare to have a drift car in here because with the labor rate in California, so that, you know, people can sustainably live. I don't remember if he said it was 120 an hour or 160 an hour. Maybe it was 120 an hour and he wanted to move to 160 an hour. That you don't get a lot of drifters in here with quality projects and stuff. Well, I mean, you would only get drifters in here with quality projects, which knocks out most drifters. Super cool. I don't know what's under the thing. This is probably the rarest thing in the shop to see. Like crazy race car Supras, most of them got modified, it seems like. The rare stuff is now the stock ones on stock wheels. This one's probably worth more than any of the others too, which is absolutely hilarious. Going over here, he has some ropes so he can do some climbing, and he had a chin-up bar somewhere last time I was here. Looks like maybe it's gone. But he has a row of JZs. Very cool. Oh, look. Let's see here. You can also tell this is going to be a drift car because it has Wise Fab on it. Oh, I haven't seen an FRS Wise Fab setup in the rear. That's an interesting angle for those rear upper arms. So much fanciness. Oh my God. This thing's like some 800 horsepower engine package and still has a spare tire in it. That's hilarious. Wise Fab and spare tires. Oh, this is interesting too. Look at the way this lower arm bends and gets super duper close to that one. As it comes up in its travel, I'm sure they separate some. This looks like a beautiful street Supra. Dan was telling me that these are the kind of bread and butter builds here because these people have very large budgets and love the cars, and the cars don't get destroyed as drift cars do. So these people don't mind putting tons of money into super high quality work. This is so funny because I was around when these were just normal vehicles that people worked on stuff. And this just looks like what I saw 15 years ago in shops like this, because I was around Boost Logic and lots of shops. So now this is like a collector's item, probably some $200,000 car. But 10 years ago, this was just some dude like getting wheels put on his car and a front mount. It wasn't so amazing to see, you know, a perfect condition Supra because they still existed in the wild. But then everybody got them and modified them and made them crazy. Ooh, look at this. That's pretty.
This one's cool.
This is like...
I had to run over here and show you so they could see it because this guy let us do a lot of detail.
Yeah?
Like a lot of color.
Is this like a full resto thing where everything's been repainted?
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't in the shape.
Not the outside, but like all the engine bay and like whatever he asked us to do, and then like color-coded details everywhere. So we're not done yet. We're waiting on like a mil-spec wire harness, but I like this one, so I want to show you.
How many hours go into a project like this?
This one...
Tens, hundreds, thousands?
It's hundreds.
Hundreds?
Not thousands. That'd be race car material. It's thousands, but it's just hundreds.
I was just saying to the audience how cool it is that people that don't drift can buy parts once and just do it nicely and then enjoy it.
Could you imagine that? Just once.
For drifting, we have to do everything like 5 times.
You just destroy everything.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for showing that to me.
Yep.
So cool. Look at that sound insulation. Uncracked dash. That's how you can tell when S chassis are nice, is they don't have cracked dashes. A friend of mine, Robert Turnbow, was telling me that he had his car repainted and it was like $9,000 to replace all the trim on the car when they did it nicely. So the paint jobs end up being crazy expensive when you love a car, which I've never loved a car that much, and you replace all the seals and do everything, it gets super duper expensive. Oh, look at that. This is a fancy car. Looks like a carbon Kevlar door. This looks like a race car. And it looks like a drift car because it has WiseFab. I did not hear him tell me anything about this thing, but this thing looks like a full-on crazy competition car. That's rad looking. And then these look like almost like a Hyundai Tiburon or something to me, the stock, you know, like everything. So funny. And then this is ridiculous. I just did an episode on this over at Paco's shop. He wanted something crazy unique that no one else had, and he built something that somebody else has, which is crazy. This is a customer car Dan was telling me he didn't want to do at all, but the dude convinced him to do it, and Dan's like, I don't know anything about these cars. There'll be a lot of learning. I can't be super efficient in the build. And the dude just wanted him to do it, which is super cool. And if you're gonna like try and find a shop like this to do a swap like this, you want a shop that would turn it down, because you want somebody that understands the level of work to do it super nicely and doesn't just need the work in their shop to like keep the doors open. You want somebody probably that's gonna turn you away from a Corvette JZ swap. And that's a forklift. Propane powered, probably 5 horsepower. No, probably has to be more than that. I don't know anything about forklifts. And here's the Supra time forgot. Boom. Okay, that concludes this shop tour. Oh, I'll show you his Assetto rig. He has a beautiful Assetto rig. Anyone that's trying to be like one of the best drifters in the world needs to have an Assetto rig, and he has a super nice one. Let's go in here and look at this. Most people don't have like a halo seat that's certified and super nice, and they have whatchamacallit, super wide screen so you can try and tandem and actually see what's going on. If you have just a 16:9 screen, you really can't see out the sides. Some people do VR, but I barf when I do VR, and I actually don't ever play, even though I should. I'm always just way too busy, and I feel like a waste of a human when I'm playing video games. And that might be the gear drive fancy Fanatic steering wheel setup. I have never seen one in person. Mine's a belt drive, and then super nice stand. Cool.
I suck at it anyways.
All right. Look at this fancy gear wrench sponsor. I need to send these guys a proposal. I don't send anybody proposals. I'm bad at it. Cool. All right, now we're done. Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Huge shout out to all the sponsors of Drift Week, starting with BC Racing Custom Coilovers, who support more grassroots and professional drifters than any other coilover company. Thank you to WhatMonstersDo.com for supporting all of our content for so long, including our Japanese content. Use the discount code EBISU on their website for a discount. Thank you to NK Wheels. They make so much cool stuff, all the way from my drift wheels all the way up to F1 wheels. Thank you to ECU Master for supporting grassroots guys all the way up to the best driver in the world, James Dean. Thank you to YPlay Imports. If you need a rad right-hand drive car from Japan, hit up Trenton at YPlay Imports and get them before the prices get too high. And thank you to Drift HQ for bringing in that support vehicle. And congratulations on everything that you've been doing this year, Drift HQ. You are killing it.